easy being a Coyotes fan, but it sure isn't easy being a Coyotes fan in the middle of Alberta. To the north of me are the Edmonton Oilers, and to the south of me are the Calgary Flames. And here I am, smack dab in the middle. So join me as I talk about the 23-24 Arizona Coyotes on Season 1 of the Albertan Coyotes Fan. So stay howling and go Yotes! Well, that was unfortunate. Yotes lose 5-3 against the Boston Bruins, and, you know, I could go on a full rant. Obviously, there were some things that I didn't like, for example, the refs, but there were enough things that were looking at least good for us that I can overlook what was a really stupid officiated game, let's put it that way. And one of the big things, and I'm going to give this credit to Boston, we are not used to a team that will come and crash our net the way that Boston was doing it. We're used to people taking shots. We're used to players, maybe they'll have one or two players come up, but very seldom have, I can't remember a single game actually, where the other team has crashed all on top of our net. We gave them a run after the first period. After the first period, we started giving them that run for their money, but we weren't there in the first. The first Bruins goal I didn't like. I thought maybe there should have been a tripping call against Boston for the play that happened on Valimaki, but that didn't end up happening, and for all I know, it was loose as to whether it was strictly playing for the puck and Valimaki just kind of stepped on the stick or something, or what have you. Granted, again, inconsistencies. It's hard to go there because the NHL doesn't seem to understand their own rule book. But that's not what caused the Coyotes to lose. What caused the Coyotes to lose is the fact that we ran into a team that played differently. And that's something we have to take note of. We need to be quicker on the adaptation, and it's hard. I can understand how that would be incredibly hard to do. You gotta adapt on the fly. It's not easy. But I want to stray away from the game just a bit. You know how I've got this beef with all broadcasters. In this house, in this building that I am sitting in right now, Jack Edwards is a national treasure. Or at least a household treasure, I guess. But you know, it's fine. Because, okay, to give a bit of a prequel to all of this, there's another word for it, and I can't think of it offhand right now. I just came back from eating at a buffet. I want to go to bed because, the turkey and all that. But I am a theater kid. I'm a theater adult now, I suppose. I love theater. I love story. I love just, acting as a whole. So I try and find the draws from hockey that relate to this other thing that I like. And Jack Edwards is a good example of what that looks like, because, if you remember some of my other videos where I'm yelling about the broadcast and it's because they're whining, they only care about their team, they're insulting ours, stuff like that, where it's just team focused, which, to a degree, that's the point. That's what the broadcast is there for. It takes away from the story of the game. It takes away from the drama, from the development that happens on the ice. And that's something that I think when you start whining because your team's not getting the things that they deserve or what have you, it takes away from that overarching story. It takes away from the drama. And basically turns it into a pity party. With Jack, that's not the case. He's slowed down in his pace. He's not as quick with his delivery of the game, which I think actually works out in his favor in this case, because it's something that people can keep track of. They can track what's being said. Because if I were to, how do I make an example out of this? If I were to talk to you like this, and I'm telling a story, and I'm telling it as slow as I am, and Jack is even slower than that. His is very much broken up so that you can savor the moment, per se. Versus if I talk like this, and I talk like this the entire time, and you don't even get a chance to breathe, you don't even get a chance to listen to what I'm trying to say, it's just constant talking and talking and talking and talking. It's harder to follow. And Jack just embodies the former. He's very good at making it so that each point that he makes just lands. It sticks with you. Like, there was a mundane play that he called out. It was something with Stetcher, and I believe it was Stetcher dumping into the corner. It's a normal play. It's a play that, it happens in hockey. It's just a part of hockey. But he started picking apart each play after that happened, and every time the puck would move or a player would come in to make a play, he would add to the point. And it almost ended up being like, okay, yeah, the puck's on the other side of the ice. But without this play from Stetcher that happened like 30 seconds ago, this play would have never developed. And Jack was good at portraying that. He was good at making those points hit and stick, so that you could have the full story of the game and not just what's being presented in front of your eyes. And that's something as a broadcaster, I can't say that because I'm not a broadcaster, but as if I were a broadcaster, that's what I would want it to be like. I would want my broadcast to sound more like a story than I'm just talking about what's in front of me. So, for once, I guess I've got a video where I'm not getting upset with the broadcast, quite the opposite, because that's... little bit of a personal note, I really do want to go into broadcasting. Right now, things are just a little up in the air, but eventually the goal is that I end up in broadcasting. Jack is someone I want to look up to. I know there's been a whole bunch of questions about his health or about his well-being or what have you. There's been a lot of rumors. People don't seem to quite catch the message that Jack is portraying, I don't think. Because they're used to that really fast-paced hockey where they're just relaying what's in front of them. Be it what it may, as far as Jack is concerned, behind the scenes. And that, honestly, is something to look up to. It's something to be inspired by. This is definitely a different video than I'm used to making. Theater and hockey are not something a lot of people put together, but I've tried. To me, hockey is all about theater. I mean, obviously, it's not as scripted as theater, but especially on the broadcast side of things, it is very much theatrical. It involves you. It immerses you in the game. It's not just relaying information, it's pulling you into the game. Jack does that really well. Same with his broadcast partner. I was quite impressed with him too. Granted, I do love the Brooklyn accent. Same with the Boston accent. Brooklyn's New York, Tim. But I do love the accents of the East Coast in the States. They're fun to listen to. But that aside, Jack Edgeworth's partner, who I don't know the name offhand, I'm sorry, did really well at telling the rest of the story. Like, talking about the Coyotes' run against the former Stanley Cup champions and how that has built their confidence, and how the coach has said that this team that is so full of confidence might not make the playoffs. And it's brutal honesty. But it's brutal honesty that the players can prove wrong. And it just builds that story. It builds that tension of, oh, well, what are the Coyotes going to do? And this is the broadcast group for the Bruins. This isn't ours. This is the Bruins broadcast talking in a good light, in a story-building light about us. They did it about the Bruins too. But just to see that story building and the storyboard all laid out with the yarn connecting image to image, it was incredible to witness. It was incredible to hear, I suppose. And I want to be like that. So the Coyotes' next game is in Buffalo. It's on Monday, and I believe it's at 5 p.m. So I can sleep in, and I can probably actually catch it for the most part. Like today, it was just kind of tidbits because I went and had lunch with my family. because we celebrate Christmas stupid early, I guess. But I will be covering a bit more the next game, probably actual hockey-wise. There might still be some broadcast stuff sprinkled in there, but hockey, I'll actually be able to catch more of that. So in the meantime, stay howling, and go Yotes, and go Jack! Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, please, like the video. And if you want to see more stuff that you may or may not like, hopefully like, you can hit the subscribe button. It's a bit more colorful than the like button, so you won't miss that. And share it with your friends. Maybe they want to hear about broadcast stuff, I'm very good at insulting broadcasters. It's just Jack this time. He's blown me away.